OGAccountability.com.
Hey guys, this is David from OG Accountability. I want to sit down and kind of share with you a little bit where I just came from. Just sat down, had a roundtable discussion in lovely old Denny's, and we sat and we were just talking about life, and they're sitting with some people my age in their 40s and a couple people older in their 60s, and we're bouncing ideas off each other and how we can get a message of hope out there and help for people. And we're just discussing a lot of different things. And I'm going to tell you, when you get around people that have true experience, it is unbelievable the amount of anxiety that they can take out of your life when they can let you know that you're going to make it through certain situations. Having said that, we were talking and getting into some laughs, and we began to talk about relationships. And the couple that I was sitting with, they are in their 60s, and they did not meet until they were in their mid-40s. And so we started talking about how things have changed. Dating has changed in your 40s than it was when you were in your 20s. When we were in our 20s, we didn't have social media. Like, if you wanted to talk, you actually had to go talk to somebody. We didn't have text messaging as prevalent as it is right now. So you actually had to put effort in to communicate with somebody. And in the information age we're in, how communication skills have really lacked, because we're like, don't call me, don't talk to me, text me. I know most of my communication with anybody that I have been dating has been by text message. And it's funny because you sit back sometimes and think, wow, I really don't talk on the phone that often. Matter of fact, most of us cringe when the phone rings now. But we begin to talk about purpose, and there was a woman that's in her 30s talking, and she's a couple years out of divorce, and she said something that really stuck out. She's like, I just want easy. I just want things to be easy. She's hitting that realm where she feels she's healthy enough to date again and kind of jump on that grenade, if you want to say. But she's like, I just want easy. And this woman in her mid-60s began to speak up, and I wish I could have recorded everything she said. I mean, just absolutely amazing. And she said, anything that is worthwhile, that's worth having in your life, will never come easy. Easy come, easy go. If something comes in and it's easy and you never have to put effort or work into it, then that is not anything you want to be a part of. And man, that really just stuck out to me, because when you get in our age, you get in your 40s, and maybe we need to write a manifesto on life after divorce. Life, if you're in your 40s and you start dating, you're going to date somebody that's been through a divorce, or if you're dating somebody that has never been married, there's going to be a realm they don't understand. People are going to have kids. When they're in their 40s, they're going to have kids. Whether they're younger, whether they're older, it's going to bring a degree of difficulty either way. It doesn't matter if your kids are grown or if your kids are 2 years old. There's going to be a learning curve and an area of, I don't want to say hindrance. I'm trying to remember how she explained everything, but it was so good. And to sit there and really think, I'm like, man, this is information that needs to get out there to people. If you're hitting that dating realm, okay, and you're hitting that point in your life where you think, okay, I want to get back out there. Honesty is always the key, and I think that is a factor that is missing in a lot of people's books this day and age, is honesty. We have to be honest with one another, but we also have to get to a position that we're not scared to try something new. That was the biggest thing she said. We all get this idea in our lives in the realm of comfortability. We want to be comfortable. We don't want to get out of our comfort zones. We don't want to get put in a position that we're uncomfortable in. Some of us, we're coming out of divorce. We're carrying scars. We're carrying emotional baggage that sometimes we don't even realize we have until you get into the dating realm. I can speak that for myself. You know, you get in there and I can be 100% confident, but the second my heart gets involved or my feelings get involved, I look for a way out. I look for a way to retreat. And that's part of wanting to be comfortable and it to be easy. I want everything easy. I don't want to have to work for it. And that comes from the emotional exhaustion that we go through when we go through a breakup and divorce. And I wish these were my own words, but they're not. And I really wanted to put this out there. There's going to be somebody who watched this. You are in that predicament where, you know, maybe you have a child and you're like, I want to start dating. How do I find the time? How do I find, you know, it's never going to be the right time. It's just like when people say, how much money do I need to have a child? And what do I need to do before I have kids? I don't think you'll ever get ready enough to have a kid. You can have some things grounded, but you're never going to get in the position where it's like, well, everything's picture perfect. Now we can have kids. It's just that exact same thing as you're growing on and you're healing. You're never going to get in a position in a place where everything is perfect now. It doesn't matter what walk of life you're from. It doesn't matter where you live. It doesn't matter how much money you make, how little money you make. If you are coming out of divorce and a relationship, you need to make sure you heal before you move into a new relationship. Or go into a relationship with somebody where you can say, hey, look, these are my areas of weakness. And if you're telling that to somebody that cares about you and they want to have a life with you, they will make sure that they handle those areas very carefully. And if you're with somebody who doesn't, they don't care about your feelings. They don't truly care about, or maybe they don't understand the area of difficulties you're in. So you push through and you realize anything that's great took work. The pyramids, here they are thousands of years later. That took work. It wasn't easy. I like what, and I've said it before, I like what President John F. Kennedy said. He said, we choose to go to the moon not because it's easy, but because it's hard. There's going to be things in your life, in relationship, life after divorce, you are going to have to make some hard decisions. You're going to. You're going to have to come to grips with who you are. You have to learn who you are. And I think a lot of times we find our identity outside of relationships. When we go through divorce, we go through breakups, we find our identity outside of that. And then we get into a relationship and we don't want that to change because we've grown comfortable with the identity in the world that we've created. So we need input. And if you're watching this and you have some advice to give, not everybody deals with the same struggles and the same problems. I know I have friends that have lost a spouse. They are not dating after divorce. They're not dating after a breakup. Their spouse passed away. They are in a completely different realm and thought process that I can't even begin to understand or even begin to give advice. But the woman I'm with, and I hope to have her on and have her explain much better than what I'm saying, because it was just so good. And we weren't just talking about dating and relationships. We are talking about life in general. Part of this OG accountability is we want to get and build a family of people that can hold each other accountable, can help younger generations, can help people. There's going to be people in their 20s, they're getting married, and they think everything's going to be great, and we're going to have a big house, and we're never going to fight, and our kids are going to be perfect, and we're not going to have to deal with anything rough. Dream on. Dream on. And it's good to have those ambitions. But it's great to have people lined up in your life that when those problems do come, you can kind of bump off of, say, hey, how do you handle this? How do you go through that? How do I face those situations? And I wish in my life that I would have had somebody that I could have talked to. Better yet, somebody I would have listened to during some dark areas of my life. It would have saved me a lot of trouble. it would have saved other people trouble for the troubles that I caused. And I want, I really, really want somebody to hear this. Anything in your life worth anything was a fight. Your kids weren't easy. Child rearing is not easy. Being a parent is not easy. Anybody who wants you to believe that things are just going to be 100% amazing when you have a kid, they are. And during that honeymoon phase, boy, you enjoy changing those diapers. Oh, it's so great, you know, and what everybody loves, that baby smell. And 9 months in, when you've had a colossal blowout and they have poop up their back and down their legs, you don't enjoy it so much. It's not as fun as it was, you know, it doesn't hold that same luster. And that's what happens in relationship, and even relationships that aren't a male and female, just with your friends. You know, you go through that phase, and then you go through difficult patches. And we're in a generation now, everybody wants easy. The Burger King, my way, right away. And when problems arise and problems happen, people just throw their hands up and walk away because we all want easy. We don't want to have friction in our lives. We don't want to have something that's going to make us work for it. We just want it now. We want it to be good. My father and my mother have been married for, I think, 47, 48 years. And I think about some of the things that my dad has said. He said, we've been married 48 years. Some of those years were really bad, and some of them were really good. And now that they are in their 70s, they have a better relationship now than they did when they were in their 20s. Part of that reason is they've put the work in. They could have called it quits years ago, and they almost did. He filed for divorce, and he went out of state, and he was working. And the day that they were supposed to get divorced, he pulled up in the driveway, and they were going to go to the court. And he's like, "Do you want to come with me?" And I'm very glad she said yes, or I wouldn't be here. But when you get to a position in relationship where I'm going to call you mine and you're going to call me yours, commitment, communication. Don't assume, guys, she knows what you're talking about. Women, don't assume men know what you're talking about. We've had Liz Marshall on here several times, and she explains how women are wired and how they think. Not every person is going to have the gift of gab or communication. Some people don't know how to talk and express their feelings. They clam up. They get mad. They get anxious. They cry. They and if we are going to have purpose in our lives, we have to come to grips and quit putting on a facade for Instagram, for Facebook, for all the world to see, and realize when that phone's put down and the computer's turned off, you're there with your spouse and you have to make it work. No matter how many people out there love your outfit, guys, how many people tell you, "Oh, you got a beautiful wife, congratulations." That stuff's good. It makes us feel good for the moment. But when all that goes away, you two are stuck in that house together. And if the only communication y'all ever have is about the monthly bills and things like that, instead of looking for a way out, fight to make it better. Make it better. Start dating again. Date your spouse again. If you've been married for a year, if you've been married for 10 years, 20 years, make time for the important thing in your life. And if that thing is no longer important in your life, remember, there was one day that you would crawl over broken glass just to see that woman, just to see that man. You would forsake anything to go see them and be with them. And if it's lost its luster, instead of throwing in the towel, and there are instances that I do believe in divorce. If there is abuse, physical and mental, constant abuse, nobody in their life needs to be abused. No one. At any age, no one needs to be abused, and no one needs to put up with it. Infidelity, there are reasons, but if it's just, well, we lost interest. No. It's up for you to get in there and do the work and get that interest built back up. What's funny is some people have friends from the time they're 3 years old to the time they die, and they've never lost interest. What happens when interest is lost is communication was lost. People start getting to a position, they just assume you know what I'm thinking about when they don't have any clue. And I believe wholeheartedly that if you will put the work into your relationship, into your marriage, if you will pour into it with the same amount that you put into whatever it is, whatever, wherever your passion's at, if you will gear that passion towards your spouse, you will fall in love with a new person. You will bring out of them something that you've never seen before, because if you are 10 years into your relationship, that's not the same person you married. They've changed for the better. They've grown with you. You've grown and you've changed in ways. And really have to fall in love with your partner in different ways. Don't give up. Anything worth its salt is worth fighting for and worth putting the work in there. There's going to be a man that's going to see this, a woman that's going to see this, and divorce is coming into your mind just because you think, well, we don't communicate like we used to, and it seems things have grown cold. And I'm going to tell you, sex is not the reason to base a relationship. Oh, we have great sex. I'm going to tell you, guys, if you are a complete stud in bed, and people don't normally talk about this, and I'm sorry, I've got the sniffles, but people who are, let's say you can go an hour in bed and you are just miraculous. Well, guess what? There's still 23 other hours in that day. Okay? So if you're basing your relationship and your whole existence off, oh, we had great sex, you really don't have much to build a relationship off of. Because those other 23 hours, you need to communicate. The kids need to eat. We have to figure out what we are going to do for the day, the week, the month, the year. What's our plan, our 5-year plan, our 10-year plan? So you can't base everything off of just sex. You also can't base everything just off of good communication. You can't base everything off, well, he makes a lot of money and things are great. Guess what? Money will come and go, but your spouse should be there forever. And divorce is prevalent in this country. Divorce is just like the changing of the sheets. It has become so common. It has become so ingrained in us. We think nothing to hear that somebody's going through a divorce. But 20 years ago, you didn't hear anybody talk about it. People were ashamed. They felt like failures. Now, even with our actors and actresses, you see them with a new guy or girl every other week. I've been guilty of that. And I hope to have them on here because I believe we need to help one another. And we don't have all the answers. We don't have everything that you need to say, oh, we have built the absolute book. We've put together the absolute book of what you got to do in life. I wish I had that ability, but I don't. But you do. We do. We can grow together. We can bounce things off one another. We can help each other. And if my child is standing next to the highway, I'm going to do everything in my power to get there and make sure she's safe and she doesn't wander out in the traffic. Guys, if your spouse, y'all have grown cold, don't let her get near that highway. Run after her. Protect her. Be her comfort. Be her safe place. Women, if your husband's going towards that proverbial traffic, chase after them. Because you took an oath in front of God, state, wherever you were married, and your family and friends. Don't give up. Fight for it. Work for it. And I promise you the reward that you will get out of that will be far greater than going out thinking you're going to find something else that's better. Because I have learned this. The reason the grass is always greener on the other side is it's fertilized with bullsh crap. That is why it's always greener on the other side. You can go out and find a new mate, and guess what? He still belches just like your ex did. He probably snores just like your ex did. He probably gets angry from time to time. He probably has a problem communicating. We build this facade that there will be something better that comes along. Now, Once again, if you're in a position where there's abuse taking place, there are underlying factors that are a danger, then that's a different story. But just because, well, we fell out of love with each other, we'll fall back in love. Chase each other again. Run after each other again. And if you will take the time for the important things in your life, and it's not just in relationship, it's not just the things in your life that are hard. If you stay with you may be challenged with a new job and say, well, it's hard. I just want easy. Well, guess what? They don't pay more money for the easy jobs. With more responsibility, with the harder it is you do, normally the more of the reward you get on that weekly paycheck. But you're going to have to put the work in. And anything in life, you're going to have to put the work in. You can't get in a position where you just sit idly by and watch life pass you by. If you are in a position where depression is coming to your life, get help. Depression's a thief. If you're in a position where alcohol has become prevalent in your life and it's got control of your life, go get help. Alcohol's a thief. Drugs are a thief. Bad friends are a thief. Bad family members are a thief. If you have a family member and every time you get around them, they're negative and all they do is take and cut down, they talk against your spouse, maybe there's a relationship that needs to be severed there or healed. Find a better way. Whatever it is in your life is worth fighting for. I have dealt so many times with people that feel like they have no hope in life. Your life is worth fighting for. Somebody needs to hear that. Don't give up on your life. Don't quit. I've put too many friends into the ground because they quit fighting for their life. So I will promise you this, whatever it is you're facing, whatever it is you're going through, I know I hit on dating in your 40s and life after divorce, but whatever it is, it's going to be hard. But if you will face that hard time and you will pour into it, I promise you the reward that you will get, you will look back on the day where you thought you had no hope and you will almost chuckle because you realize where you are at now from where you came and say, I can't believe I allowed that to hold me back. But in the midst of the storm, you don't see the light at the end of it. In the middle of the storm, you don't see that there's going to be peace after the storm. We just get sucked in and caught in that absolute turmoil that's right there in front of us. I know I'm rambling, but I'm just excited. I'm really in a position in my life, I'm going to talk about me for a second, that I want to surround myself with people that are doing good things. I don't want to surround myself with takers. I don't want to be a taker. I want to be a giver. I want to surround myself with people that are speaking positive things, good things, that are doing things to help people, doing things to better themselves, that I trust and I can pour into, and they trust me, I can pour into them. But not only that, at the end of the day, I can lay down and close my eyes knowing I fought. I fought for the good things in my life. And if I will do that, and I will work, and I won't give up, when I'm 50, I'm going to be happy. When I'm 60, I'm going to be happy. When I'm 70, I'm going to be happy. And I don't want to live life with regret. I want to live life in a happy place. Thank you all for listening to me ramble. Remember, this is OG accountability, old guy accountability, to hold each other accountable, to be a voice of reason, and a lot of darkness out there. We want to be a light. So thank you for taking the time to listen to me. I hope this helps somebody, because I'm telling you, I'm excited. When I left that round table, Denny's, it made me feel so good. I'm like, I allowed things that didn't matter to really cloud my vision. Y'all have a great evening, and looking forward to what we have in store.